Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome live here on your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network here on YouTube.com. Again, as always, I'm Brandon Morvillius. Alongside here with me is cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy. Again, we thank you all for tuning in here for this 2022 IHSAA Class 2A Sectional 40 Boys Basketball Tournament Preview Show here this evening. Again, just wanting to spend a little time with you all. We'll break down the Sectional 40 bracket as well as look at each team in the sectional, and then we'll talk about some of the team stats, also some individual players that we'll kind of point out that potentially could make an impact on each and every single ball game that we potentially could play them throughout the sectional. And so it's just a nice time for us to be able to get together, talk about some basketball, and more specifically at this sectional 40, which is by far one of the toughest in the entire state of Indiana, and should be a great sectional again this year. Again, that's going to be starting up tonight, which we'll go ahead and take a look here at this year's bracket. Again, we'll first start out here with the first game will be between the Alexandria Tigers, as they will be taking on the Lapel Bulldogs in the opening round this evening here on March the 1st at 7 o'clock p.m. Again, all sectional 40 action will be held at Alexandria High School. So that's where all of you guys can go on out there, pack the house, and support the Wapahani Raiders coming up tomorrow night. Speaking of which, the Frankton Eagles will take on your Wapahani Raiders tomorrow night on March the 2nd. We will be the first game tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Again, the winner of Frankton and Wapahani will then take on the winner of Monroe Central and Elwood. Monroe Central and Elwood will go head-to-head tomorrow night, the second game of the evening at 7:45 p.m. Again, these are all times that could change, obviously, depending upon when the first games get over with. But again, then the winner of Alexandria and Lapel will play Winchester on Friday night, March the 4th at 6 p.m., and then again, as I mentioned, the winner of the Frankton and Wapahani game and the winner of the Monroe Central and Elwood game will play on Friday, March the 4th at 7:45 p.m. Again, that will be the second game of the evening. Then with the 2A Sectional 40 championship game then being played on Saturday night, March the 5th, 7:30 p.m. start time again from Alexandria High School. Again, here on your bracket, each team, as far as that's on the bottom part of each little bracket, will be the home team. So for this evening's ball game between Alexandria and Lapel, Lapel will be the home team between Wapahani and Frankton. Wapahani will be the home team coming up tomorrow night, and then Elwood will be the home team there against Monroe Central tomorrow night there in the second game. So again, that is what the sectional 40 bracket looks like. Again, now our games will be on a different site, and we did the same thing for volleyball earlier in the fall, and then much the same for girls basketball about 3 weeks to a month ago, and we're doing the same thing here with boys basketball, and that's going to be the way that things will go for the state tournament for any sports that we cover out here at Wapahani. You will find our games on IHSAATV.org/Wapahani Raiders. You'll see it come across your screen there on the bottom part here in just a few moments as far as the exact website, and then I'll put it on our screen here once we get to the latter part of tonight's preview show. But just wanted to give you guys a heads up. There's no cost to watch whatsoever, so everything is free to watch the game tomorrow night and hopefully Friday night and Saturday night, and then hopefully even on from there throughout the rest of the postseason run here for Wapahani. But that's where you're going to find our games. It's only going to be on there. It will not be on YouTube at all during state tournament play. We can only have it on IHSAATV.org. So we hope you all tune in there for that. But again, these first games here in the Sectional 40 are happening tonight. Alexandria taking on Lapel, and then the winner of that will be taking on Winchester on Friday night, March the 4th. So I'm going to go ahead and let Redbeard kind of have a little time to himself right here to talk with all you fine folks out there to again break down Alexandria, Lapel, and Winchester.
All right, thanks, Marv. Yeah, we'll start with the Alexandria Tigers. They come into sectional play with a record of 6-16. As team stats, they score 51 points a game while giving up 57.5 points a game. Now, unfortunately, there's not any individual stats to report on. But sectionals on their home court, you never know what might happen.
That's exactly right.
Then we'll go to the Lapel Bulldogs. They come in with an even record of 11-11. They score 56 points per game while giving up 53.8 points per game. From the field, they're 454 of 996, good for 46%. From three-point land, they're 154 of 431, good for 36%. From the free throw line, they're 166 of 273, good for 61%. They get 25.3 rebounds a game, 13 assists a game. They steal it 6.2 times a game, and they turn it over 14.2 times a game. Now, some players to watch for. First, we have Bodhi Judge, 11.1 points per game and 1.7 rebounds per game. From the field, he's 83 of 185, good for 45%. From three-point land, he's 53 of 126, good for 42%. From the free throw line, he's 14 of 21, good for 67%. Next, we have Landon Bear. He gets 8.8 points per game on 3 rebounds a game and 3.7 assists per game. From the field, he's 64 of 125, good for 51%. From three-point land, he's 23 of 60, good for 38%. And he's 81% free throw shooter. Next, we have Corbin Renahan, 8.1 points per game, 4.9 rebounds a game. From the field, he's 50 of 125, good for 40%. From three-point lane, he's 15 for 26, good for 27%. From the free throw line, he's 23 of 35, good for 66%. Then we have Bodhi Judge. He has 7.6 points per game and 3.4 rebounds per game. From the field, he's 64 of 120, good for 53%. And from the free throw line, he's 32 of 57, good for 56%. And finally, we have Griffin Craig, 6.5 points per game and 1 assist per game. From the field, he's 46 of 109, good for 42%. From three-point land, he's 30 of 70, good for 43%. From the free throw line, he's 7 of 11, good for 64%. Then we'll go to the Winchester Golden Falcons. They come in with a record of 13-8 on the year. As a team, they score 61.8 points per game while giving up 58.2. From the field, they're 461 of 991, good for 47%. From downtown, they're 117 of 357, good for 33%. From the free throw line, they're 210 of 312, good for 67%. They get 30 rebounds a game, 14.4 assists per game, 6.9 steals a game, and they turn the ball over 15.8 times a game. Some players to watch for: Brooks Burleson, 11.3 points per game, 2.5 rebounds per game, 2.4 assists per game. From the field, he's 72 of 200, good for 36%. From downtown, he's 44 of 137, good for 32%. And from the line, he's 26 of 34, good for 76%. Next, we have Gage Patterson, 10.8 points per game, 6.9 rebounds a game. From the field, he's 87 of 149, good for 58%. And from the free throw line, he's 42 of 78, good for 54%. Next, we have Adam Moore, 10.2 points per game, 6.4 rebounds a game. From the field, he's 80 of 147, good for 54%. From downtown, he's 9 of 26, good for 35%. From the free throw line, he's 35 of 49, good for 71%. Next, we have Jamison Bashirs, 7.2 points per game and 3.9 rebounds per game. From the field, he's 50 of 122, good for 41%. From downtown, he's 19 of 50, good for 38%. And he's a 78% free throw shooter. Next, we have Drew Lloyd, 6.8 points per game, 1.6 rebounds per game, and 2 assists per game. From the field, he's 47 of 97, good for 48%. From downtown, he's 17 of 47, good for 36%. And from the free throw line, he's 24 of 28, good for 86%. Next, we have Mason Barker, 6.7 points per game and 2.1 rebounds per game. From the field, he's 54 of 90, good for 60%. From downtown, he's 5 of 11, good for 45%. And from the free throw line, he's 20 of 31, good for 65%. And finally, we have Camden Preston, 5.8 points per game, 4 rebounds per game. From the field, he's 42 of 104, good for 40%. From downtown, he's 20 of 61, good for 33%. And from the line, he's 11 of 21, good for 52% on the season.
All right. So thank you, Redbeard. Again, that was Alexandria, Lapel, and Winchester. Again, Alexandria and Lapel will go head-to-head tonight, March the 1st. That'll be a 7 o'clock start time there for that one. Should be a good one. Those two teams, a little bit different than what they've been accustomed to throughout the years. Lapel right there at 500, Alexandria on the other side of 500, unfortunately, not on the good side anyway. Yeah. But as you said, they're playing on their home court. Yeah. Anything can happen. You get to this time of the year, you never know.
Everyone starts 0-0.
Exactly. So
you never know.
And even these stats, you can you can look into these stats as much as you want, but once you get into the game, you got to kind of throw that out the door, to be honest with you. We even seen that during our girls basketball sectional.
Yeah.
You can have a team go in there, literally shoot terrible from the free throw line, come into that game and nearly hit every single one of them, and so it's just one of those things that if you catch the team on a right night, that's could be bad news for you. And so again, we'll see what happens. Lapel, darn good team. They've had a very good program throughout the years. Alexandria, the same thing. Winchester, on the good side of things, they're 13-8 on the season, coming into that. So it should be a great battle, like I said, there between Alexandria and Lapel tonight. Again, then Winchester waiting on the winner of those two teams. So now we'll take a look here at your Wappa Honey Raiders. Again, this will be a long-winded part right here of our preview show with all the stats and teams I'll be covering here. I gave Redbeard the short end here because he doesn't like to talk too much.
Keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, short and sweet.
To the point.
Me, on the other hand, I like to linger it on just a little bit. Nonetheless, here Wappa Honey finished up the regular season 18-4 here on the season. Team stats here, the Raiders were just under 67 points a game on average, 66.9. They only allowed 46 points a game defensively. Field goal percentage, 50%. There was 537 of 1,066 from the field. Behind the three-point line, 195 of 449. Good for 43%. And then at the old charity stripe there, 204 of 290. Good for 70% there from the free throw line. Average 28.7 points, or 28.7 rebounds a game, 13.9 assists per game. Also just a tick over 8 steals per game. They also only turned it over 7.4 times a game. So that's very important key right there, making sure we're taking good care of the basketball, making good on these opportunities and these possessions when the opportunity presents itself. And then hopefully, again, there from the free throw line, we've seen there towards the last 2 or 3 games of the season where we shot the ball from the line a lot better. And, we started the year really good. Ended it pretty good as well, and hopefully that same trend will continue from the line there into postseason play starting tomorrow night. We're not going to go over player stats. Again, we'll kind of leave that for everybody else to look for. But got a good, really good team right here. A long list of guys that come out here, contribute, and hopefully, again, we'll see that once again starting up tomorrow night. We'll take a look here at the opposition here. The Frankton Eagles, a record of 13-9 here on the season. Again, the Raiders and the Eagles played earlier on in the season when, unfortunately, the Eagles got the best there of your Raiders back there on December the 21st. Frankton beat us 56-45 there in that one, in which the Raiders, I'll just be brutally frank with you, they didn't shoot the ball very well at all. They could have shot the ball from just about anywhere and probably still missed it, even layups. It was just a rough night for us. But, late in the game, we started to kind of find, our niche there a little bit, and unfortunately it wasn't enough, and we didn't have enough time to really get ourselves back into it. But Frankton, like I said, 13-9 regular season record here. Average points-wise on offense, 56.7 points a game they allowed, 49.5 points a game. 46% from the field. They were 491 of 1,056. Also from behind the three-point line, 122 of 390, good for 31%. Then at the free throw line, they struggled, the Eagles, 144 of 236, good for 61%. Rebounds a game, 26.7. They have 15.5 assists. Also 8.7 steals per game, and then they turn it over just a touch over 12 at 12.4 times per ball game. Some key players to really watch for here for your Wappa Honey. And when you take a look here at Frankton, first and foremost, Harrison Schwinn, a young man averaging 17 points a game, 8.1 rebounds. He's a 51% shooting percentage from the field. 37% from downtown, 40 of 109. That is the best on the team and by far the biggest three-point threat. Him and another young man that I'll get to here in just a moment. But Harrison Schwinn also 65% there from the free throw line. Next we have Jacob Davenport. Second on the team in points per game at 12.3. Also averages 3.9 rebounds a game and 3.7 assists. 109 of 186, good for 59% from the field. Also 9 of 23, 39% from beyond the arc, and a 54% free throw shooter is Jacob Davenport. Next here we have Colin Gardner, 9.9 points per game on average, also 4.5 rebounds a game. He shoots 61% from the field, 91 of 149. Again, primarily lives on the inside, doesn't take any outside shots. A really nice post player here for this Frankton Eagles team. And he also shoots 67% there from the free throw line. Next, here's Tyler Bates, 7.6 points per game, also 3.2 rebounds and 3.5 assists. Coming in, 36% field goal percentage. He's 59 of 163. Again, Bates, the second best three-point shooter on this Eagles team, coming in 36 of 104, good for 35% from downtown. And he shoots 61% there from the free throw line. And then lastly, here we have Blake Mills coming in 6.9 points per game, also averages 3.5 rebounds a game and 3.7 assists per game. 35% from the field, 53 of 153. Is 24 of 85, 28% from three-point range. And he also shoots 61% there from the free throw line. So again, that is the 13-9 Frankton Eagles. Again, Wapahani and Frankton will play tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Again, they're from Alexandria High School. Next on tap here we have Monroe Central and Elwood. Again, Monroe Central coming in undefeated, perfect 21-0. A lot of accomplishments this season. We seen them earlier, about 3 weeks or so ago. Did Wapahani. Monroe Central beat Wapahani by 1, 54-53. And what was probably one of the best, if not the best game of the season, especially to come out and watch. That was a packed house. And if that happens again, we expect much the same thing there on Friday night. But Monroe Central averages 54.6 points per game. They're on average. They're offensively. They only allow 38.5, which is the best defensively as far as points average goes in the whole entire field here of this Sectional 40 boys basketball tournament. So obviously the defense is what gets them to where they've been at, and then they have just enough offense to get them over the win right there, to find that momentum each and every single ball game. The defense really fuels that whole entire team right there. Field goal percentage, 50% there from the field, 392 of 781, 34% from beyond the three-point line, 103 of 307, and then they're 197 of 275, good for 72% from the free throw line. They average 23 rebounds a game, also 13.2 assists, also 9.4 steals, and 6.9 turnovers per game, which is the best turnover ratio in the Sectional 40 basketball tournament there as well. Again, just ahead of Wapahani. So those two teams, again, that's one big key right there. You have great defense and then followed up with being able to take good care of the basketball on offense. You're going to have at least a good chance to win each and every single ball game. Players to really watch for here for Monroe Central here. You have Jackson Allum, a young man averaging 15.7 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, also 4.4 assists per game. He's 50% from the field, 99 of 197, also 35 of 91, good for 38% from beyond the three-point line, and he shoots 83% from the free throw line. Next here is we have another senior, Gavin Smithson Burciaga, young man coming in averaging 12 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, also 93 of 161, 58% from the field. He can extend that range outside a little bit more, primarily mostly a inside player, wreaks havoc on the boards and able to put it back up. But he's 10 of 22, 45% from beyond the three-point line, and he's 72% from the charity stripe. Next here we have Luke Jones, young man, 8.1 points per game offensively, only just a tick over 1 rebound a game. He's 36% from the field, also 26 of 90, 29% from downtown, also 15 of 23, 65% there from the free throw line. Next here is we have Josiah Allum, 7.4 points per game, 2.8 rebounds, also 3.5 assists per game. It's 51 of 117, 44% there from the field, 16 of 48, 33% from downtown, and he shoots 75% there from the charity stripe. And then lastly here we have Cole Munchell, another big man here for the Golden Bears, averaging 6.9 points a game, 5.2 rebounds. He's 75% there from the field, 57 of 76, and then 17 of 32, good for 53% from the free throw line. So again, that is the 21-0 Monroe Central Golden Bears. I'll tell you what, head coach Olem there's got those guys really clicking on all cylinders, and good for them. They've had a great season, and we'll see what happens in sectional 40 play coming up again there tomorrow night. Next here we have the Elwood Panthers. A record of 1-20 here on the season, so some unfortunate luck there for the Panthers, but again, at sectional time, you never know. You got to keep going. You got to go out there. You got to play, and hopefully put your best foot forward. And maybe you might come up there with a win. You never know. So Elwood coming into this ball game, averaging 41.9 points a game offensively. They allow 67.5 on defensive side of the basketball. They're 329 of 925, good for 36% from the field. They're 64 of 260, 25% from downtown. And then from the free throw line, they're 122 of 185, good for 66%. They average 23.2 rebounds a game, also 8.6 assists, 7 steals a game, and then they turn it over at 16.5 turnovers per game. Some players to watch for here for your Elwood. 3 guys here that really picked out here. You have Jaden Reese first and foremost here. Young man averaging 13.8 points a game, 2.8 rebounds, also 2.3 assists per game. He's 95 of 338, 28% there from the field, 22 of 107, 21% from downtown, and he is 61% there from the free throw line. So again, Jaden Reese, biggest three-point threat there for Elwood. Obviously, the Panthers will definitely look to get him the ball come tomorrow night. Next here we have Hunter Salee, averaging 13 points a game, 7.9 rebounds. He's 83 of 194, good for 43% there from the field. 8 of 22, 36% there from downtown, and shoots 21 of 29, 72% from the charity stripe. And then lastly here we have Will Rutherford, averages 8 points per game, also 3.8 rebounds, 2.3 assists. He's 52 of 106, 49% there from the field, 9 of 27, 33% from beyond the three-point line, and he shoots 70% from the free throw line. So again, that is Elwood. Again, as we broke down Wapahani as well as Frankton, Monroe Central, and Elwood. Hopefully I wasn't too long-winded right there. Just trying to get as much in there as we possibly can. Again, we get all of our stats and information from maxpreps.com. Also, John Harrell, our 2 outlets as far as stats and everything else that we can gather. So we appreciate both of those sites and thank them for allowing us to get information from them. But some game notes here and some key matchups here when we look at how Wapahani fared against the Sectional 40 opponents here throughout the course of the season. So, I had already mentioned Wapahani lost to Frankton back there on December the 21st, 56-45. Monroe Central obviously beat us about 3 weeks ago. That was on February 11th, 54-53. But then Wapahani took care of business against the other 3 opponents. We didn't play Elwood. So we don't know how that would have went necessarily, I guess. But Wapahani defeated Winchester back on December the 3rd, 80-54. That was right here from Raider Gymnasium. Then on December the 10th, Wapahani defeated Lapel 72-56. And then Wapahani went to Alexandria on December the 18th and took down the Tigers by a final score of 88-48. So again, that is what the regular season matchups look like. They're between Wapahani and the Sectional 40 opponents that we could potentially face, and especially when you look at Frankton, like I said, we just had a bad night at the office. We couldn't shoot for nothing, and defense was all right. It wasn't great, but when you're playing catch up all the time and trying to find ways offensively, sometimes your defense might slack off just a touch. But still, you only allowed 56 points in that game. So, have to have a great defensive effort tomorrow night. We've got to get the offense going early and often, and hopefully, come up with a big win, because that's going to be a tough game. Every year it's always a tough game between Wapahani and Frankton, and we expect the exact same thing coming up there tomorrow night. Some other notable things and other information right here we want to mention here tonight. Going into the Sectional 40, Wapahani has won their last 3 games and have won 8 of their last 9. And they're also in the search there for that three-peat. They've won the last 2 years of the Sectional 40 championship there in 2020 and 2021. So, again, looking for that three-peat. It's going to be very difficult. We've got a tough road ahead. But in a lot of other ways, we really wouldn't have it any other way. If you're gonna be successful, and if you're gonna win this thing, you'd rather beat the best while doing it. So it's going to be a great battle, like I said, coming up tomorrow night there between Wapahani and Frankton. Another key notable right here, Isaac Andrews, and I don't want to get necessarily too individual based right here, because I don't want anybody thinking we're trying to point out one certain player. But Isaac Andrews is 45 points away from career point number 3 or number 1,000. I got ahead of myself. 3,000. That's a big number too.
Yeah.
But career number 1,000 points. So 45 points away from that. What a milestone that will be. Hopefully he will get that during this sectionals. We'll wait and see what happens there. But what a neat accomplishment. Even to get that far right now.
Yeah.
That's really something. So we're rooting him on. We're rooting the Raiders on. And again, we hope you all can tune in starting tomorrow night, which, by the way, this is where you can find it, right here, folks. So catch your Wapahani Raiders there in 2022 2A Sectional 40 play by going to that website right there. So make sure to take a good look at that, take a picture of it, write it down, type it in your phone. I don't care what you got to do. Just make sure and have that website down, because that's the only way you're going to be able to watch that game starting tomorrow night and throughout the Sectional 40 basketball tournament. Again, that will be on www.ihsaatv.org/Wapahani Raiders/. So, again, that's where you can find all the action coming up there. Sectional 40 boys basketball, Wapahani Raiders getting after it, like I said, tomorrow night with the Frankton Eagles. 6 p.m. start time. I believe the doors open at 5 o'clock. So please come on out, support the Raiders. Pack the house there at Alexandria.
Get there at 4:30.
That's exactly right.
Stand in line.
The more the merrier. Wear the red, wear the black, wear the red and the black and the white. I don't care. But pack the house out there at Alexandria tomorrow night. If you all can't make it, like I said, you know where to find us. They're on IHSAATV.org. But again, we want to thank you all for tuning in, spending some time here with us this evening. Like I said, it's really something special, that we just like to put together just to give all of you more of an insight on how things, have shaken out throughout the course of the regular season, what they look like now going into postseason play. And, hopefully Wapahani will, really start playing their best basketball this season, because this is the part of the year where you've really got to turn it on. The light switch is, it's got to be turned on, and it's going to stay on. And, this is a team that I believe, can go quite the distance here. But they've got to believe that, and everybody else has got to believe that, and then you've got to put it all out there on the floor and make it happen. So we're really looking forward to it, and we hope all of you are as well. But, again, we want to thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all tomorrow night. And until then, I'm Brandon Morvillius alongside cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy. We'll see you all next time here on your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network.